When I decided to get an RC truck, the Invictus just caught my eye. It actually looked like a truck, but yet it looked tough and fast. And it wouldn't take me long to find out that both of those were true. Big tires are nice, but putting them out at the end of very long suspension arms means you get a lot of control over them. I also liked that this had a lot of ride height and that the bottom of the truck is flat. There's just less to catch on. I also like that the Invictus uses good-looking coilover shocks that are mounted with the heavy end up as they're supposed to be. You can see the front drive unit here that hasn't given me a bit of trouble. You can see that no trouble period has included a lot of running around in the yard. Adjusting the coilover springs is done with spacers. You get a bunch of spacers with the kit, but you can use other things too if you run out of those. Those spacers let you move weight around the car, which is important to handling. The bottom mount for the shocks on all four corners has this extra hole that lets you move them out a little bit to decrease the ride height. That can come in handy with flatter tracks. The ball joints at the end of the suspension arms have enough adjustment that you can tweak the camber on the wheels. I was able to set the camber that I wanted on all four wheels and still have a nice comfortable fit for the dog bones. The tie rods are nice and solid and have a turnbuckle adjustment so you can get it just right. The rear wheels use this adjustable upper link that lets you set the kind of camber that you need back there. All the electronics come pre-installed and they all seem to be shielded from water and moisture very well. More than once I've had the Invictus out in the morning dew in North Carolina making rooster tails all over the yard. The motor case got a little rusty, but so far that's it. I'm really impressed with how tough this body is and how good it looks after what I've put it through. Testing a truck like this is no time to be gentle, and I certainly haven't been with the Invictus. The body mounts are just as tough as the body is. These things have been hammered from every direction and they still hold up just fine. This is the radio that comes with the Invictus, and it didn't take long to realize that this was really what was holding the whole thing back. This radio does work, but it's very basic. We have to realize that one of the big reasons a radio like this gets included with the kit is the cost. This radio has all the familiar looking features like a trigger throttle and a steering wheel. But in a world of computerized radios, there's nothing on here that lets you quantify what kind of adjustments you're making. For someone with a lot of experience, this radio probably doesn't pose a big problem. But for somebody that's just starting out, this could be a really hard thing to overcome. I think this radio is more responsible for compromising the performance of the Invictus than anything on the car itself. I've got a good radio coming, and this is going to be the first car we put it in, so watch for that review coming up. The Invictus has a lot of power and a lot of speed. Trying to get the power to the ground and having the car go in the direction you really want it to is a problem with this radio. The throttle's not very predictable, and just when you think you've got it handled, the back end will come out or the car will flip over. Or that it comes from the suspension being so good that it's keeping the tires planted on the ground, at least until the G-forces take over and throw the car over on its roof. I know these are off-road tires, but even on the pavement, when we got a decent amount of speed up through a corner, we could lift the left front tire. The Invictus wants to go that fast if the radio just settled on and let it do it. And it doesn't get much better when we move to the dirt. Once again, the chassis doing a really good job of trying to get a hold of the ground. The inconsistencies in the radio that keep throwing the car over. We did a lot of playing with the trims and what they say are dual rates on this radio, and nothing seems to make any difference. I think this is a case where the Invictus is just too good for the radio they pack with it. It's obvious that the Invictus is reasonably fast and very durable for the price point. I think that once we get a good radio system in there, the Invictus is going to be a lot of fun to drive. It's not a high-end racer by any means, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun tearing up the ground in the backyard. And for a lot of us, that's where we have the most fun anyway.